mean, you've obviously worked with some bad CISOs.
Yes.
You've worked with some good CISOs. What are the characteristics of a good CISO?
They care. That's it.
They care about the business.
Yeah, they care. I'll give you an example of the last bad CISO I worked with. MSP, really big client, outsourced their infrastructure, which is about 500 servers, and the company, the MSP, outsourced it back to IBM. This is my favorite story. One of the requirements is SIEM. And I go in there to take over the InfoSec aspect. And what are we doing for SIEM? Well, that's been forked over to IBM along with the servers. Okay, well, what are they actually doing? Don't know. It's been forked over, boxes ticked, not worried about it. And that was it. But I was the first security guy to actually go to legal and commercial and get the contracts. And so I called up IBM. It's like, I'd like to know what you guys are actually doing with these 500 servers in terms of SIEM. What tool are you using? What are you logging? What are you correlating? Who's doing it? Are they trained? Where's the data? What's the retention? Give me the details. And their immediate response is, hold on a minute, 500 servers. Because our interpretation of the contract is that the application, which is the terminology in the contract, means the web application. How many of these 500 servers are the web application? 18? This has been going on for 3 years. And I ask, because there's a clause in the contract that says, if servers are end of life, they don't have to support them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how many of these 18 servers are end of life and therefore unsupported by you? All 18. So I'm like, okay, so we've been paying you £25,000 per month for the last 3 years to monitor absolutely nothing and be in breach of contract the whole time. Yeah. Kudos to them, because they're following the contract. Now, this was a year ago, and I know for a fact the CISO still hasn't addressed it. Put it on the carpet. And that's when I see CISOs
not asking the right questions.
Yeah, just lack of curiosity. But also when I hear the argument, there's a breach. Oh, it's not the CISO's fault.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the resources. First of all, if you really need the resources, you should. And this is what Joe said on another one of your podcasts. Yeah. You have to speak their language. You have to listen. You have to make it relevant to them. I think communication is something where a lot of CISOs fail. But they ask for more resources. But are you actually using the resources you have properly? Because this CISO wasted £900,000 of funding, and that was on SIEM alone. And there were, every other day was a similar discovery, although the numbers were smaller. Can
you elaborate when you say that CISOs need to communicate more, and you think that that's really important? Explain what you mean by that.
I think we, IT people are geeks, and security people are the geek's geek, and you can't go talking to a board like a geek. You have to make it simple to them, and you can't waste their time. Most IT people and security people like to talk and explain and urgency. And no, it's got to be simple. You got to. Their time is valuable.
And I guess every single person within the organisation have got different agendas as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You
need to make sure that you're appealing to their agendas.
And I think that's one of the reasons why integrity and reputation are so important. Because when you do go to the board, you don't want to be the boy that cries wolf. You want to be the guy that, hey, he always gets the job done. Yeah. I always hear positive feedback from him. He keeps me in the loop, but doesn't waste any of my time. Everything tells me he's doing a great job, liked by everyone, respected by everyone, and he's asking me for something now.
So
I need to pay attention.
So if you first start in a CISO role, I mean, one of the most important things you've got to do is make yourself visible and create relationships with all of those people, all these stakeholders that are going to make a difference to your success.
Absolutely. And not every department head, IT, architecture, but the board as well. You want to take more time with them, I think. But I think the end users are neglected a lot. I can remember one case where it was actually the same company. There was someone that was disabled. They worked in a call center. They couldn't fit their headset over their hearing aids, so they couldn't use their hearing aids, and they really struggled to hear on the phone. And he had a device that he could plug into the phone and beam it directly into his hearing aids, but it used Bluetooth. Policy violation. I found out about this, I think 50 plus emails between HR, legal, and security, because it's a policy violation. HR wants him to be able to do his job, and legal is afraid of getting sued because we're not accommodating his handicap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, has anyone ever spoken to him and know exactly how this device works? No. Okay. Tell him to bring it into work tomorrow and give me a show and tell. So you go up to the floor with the call center in it. He said, nice guy. It's an old mill. You got brick walls this big. Is in the corner on the 4th floor.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no risk. I mean, nothing you can't jot down, or the people around him are on the phone hearing card details and bank details all day anyway. So there's no issue there. 10 minutes, closed. I'll get you an exception by the end of the day. I've just done something for him. Took me 20 minutes of my time. But the 20 people around him saw me do it. So they now perceive me in a very positive way. And they treat me differently. And for every one of them, in the next couple of months, other people see them treat me differently. They start treating me the same way. They don't even know why.
Got it.
But all of a sudden, they know you're one of the good guys. They know you help people. They know you care. If you ask something of them, you're far more likely to get them. I see organizations where we struggle with GDPR for our shipping staff, the guys in the warehouse. We can't get any traction. You can have a chat with them. Within 3 minutes, you know their kids' names, their wives' names, their age, their date of birth, how long they've been here, blah, blah, blah. Can you name me someone in security? No. So that, even if they're low-level people, it helps. And especially if you want to build a very prescriptive information security framework, it helps to find out what people are actually doing.
Probably shouldn't be disclosing that information, should they, to you?
It's my job.
You mentioned GDPR just in passing there.
Yeah.
What has that meant for the role of a CISO?
I think it's empowered some CISOs, but my question has always been, why is GDPR an InfoSec concern? Because you need encryption, you need secure storage, you need to know where data is, how it's protected. How the hell did you not know this already? I mean, if you had any organization of any kind and you wanted to protect what was obviously sensitive data, why didn't you have these controls? Like, forget about the fine. Just from a business perspective, it made sense. You don't want to lose this. You don't want the reputational risk. You don't want the business downtime.
Not enough implication, perhaps, you think, in the past, you think?
I think it's. I think that's where you start seeing like a disconnect from IT and security and the business. Because we do tend to hide behind our computers a lot. It's the same with user awareness. We just send comms and we expect people to do what we want them to do. But if someone from marketing tells us in security how to answer the phone, which font to use in our email, and how to format our signature, we tell them to shut off.
Yeah.
If it was mandated of us, we'd do it for maybe a couple of days and then we'd start sliding off.
Yeah.
Psychologically, they have the same. If you don't engage them as people, their emotional commitment is the same. So if you don't build those relationships, you're not going to get anywhere.
I think one of the things that would be really useful is for CISOs to have training on how to get ideas to spread, because it's very difficult to get people to adopt ideas and to change the way that they operate. And I think sometimes the way that we go around this is too simplistic. As you rightly say, you just send an email around, or you spend half an hour with them a month and you think it would change behaviour, but it won't.
Yeah, because I think culturally as IT people, we're used to being behind the computer.
Right.
And that's our tool to communicate. And our friends, that's how we talk to them, and that's how we talk to our friends on Facebook and this and that. But
that's not how you create change. It takes it's a process, and there's a lot involved.
That's talking, but your friends on Facebook, you know them in real life, hopefully. So there's an underlying relationship. I can build that relationship and then have communication over email.
Right.
But they know who I am, trust me, know I'm there for them.
That's it.
So
there's that critical step of actually developing trust with the people that you're trying to change behaviour of.
I think it's really basic leadership, but we're not used to that in IT because, let's face it, when we were young, we hid away from people behind their computer because we like the computer better than people. The computer does what I want. It doesn't beat me up. That's the teenage years for a lot of us, and that's why I like the computer.
How technical do you think a CISO should be?
I think I don't think it's the most important thing, to be honest. I hear this discussion a lot. Does it have to be more business? Does it have to be more people-oriented, more technical? I think being technical is very important, but I don't think it's the most important if I had to prioritize it, because you do see a lot of technical CISOs, but they're still going to struggle because everything's going to be great on paper, but the human aspect is going to be missing. But I also think it depends, because the technical stuff you can delegate it. But I'm surprised at how much there's a lack of technical skills in people even lower down. Like I find like security analysts, and they know a firewall interface for a certain brand, and maybe this is why hiring practices are, we want X amount of experience for Palo Alto specifically, but they don't actually understand how IP networking works and the stuff underneath it. And I feel like, how can you not have that foundation?
Yeah.
And one example I saw recently was a change request went through, and it was to add a Samba share to patching infrastructure to add a terabyte of storage because they needed to upload more patches to distribute. And so the change came through. We want to install Samba so we can install this window share on this Unix infrastructure. And yes, everyone's happy. Security signs off happy. I'm like, hold on a second. What version of Samba? That's 5 years old. It's got 2 10.0 CVE severity remotely executable vulnerabilities on it. You've just compromised the entire estate because that patching infrastructure's got root on everything, and you've just made it remotely exploitable. They don't look into the details. And I see that a lot in InfoSec managers. And I'm told, but it's just a management role. And I'm like, come on, guys. How many layers of people are we going to need? If we start slicing it too thin that you need so many people, you're just going to lose all visibility anyway. I think we need way fewer people than we currently use, because it's just costing us visibility and nimbleness.
So you think we need fewer people?
I think we need fewer people. Yeah, the whole we need information security skills gap. Now there's a skills gap. I think it's leadership skills and that kind of thing, and people being too narrowly trained in individual skills. But in terms of body count, there's no skills gap at all.